Fantastic. Mr. Fetayo, good morning and welcome to the program.
Good morning. It's my pleasure to be here once again.
Fantastic. Let's get started with the Vanguard newspaper, Mr. Fetayo, and for good reason, because anything that has to do with lives of people should be the priority in any public discourse and conversation. The Vanguard is leading with this abduction, how bandits kidnapped 25 schoolgirls, killed vice principal in deadly attack, police confirm Kebbi school invasion, abduction barbaric, condemnable, Kebbi government, Tinubu orders rescue of 25 abducted schoolgirls, Atiku condemns attack, advises FG to strengthen security architecture, gunmen abduct ex-Subeb's father, Nasarawa communities thrown into panic. You know, Mr. Fetayo, there was a time the numbers kind of came down in terms of attacks and incidents and even killings. But with what we see, is like there's a resurgence of attacks and all of this criminality that we've seen across board. What do you make of what is going on right now? Another set of schoolgirls, we're not done with Chibok, we're not done with Dapchi, Leah Charibu is somewhere, we do not know or may not, I don't know. And now we've added yet these innocent girls, and always girls. Why?
Yeah, first and foremost, let me take this opportunity to sympathize with the Kebbi state government, the family of those children, and even the vice principal that lost his life along the way. And having said that, most of the time our government, they are just reactional. And that's the only plan they have. Oh, once an incident happens, we will see what we do to rescue them, just like you rightly pointed out, the Chipok girl, the party, all of those ones, they are still there. So, but what I would have advised that they should have put some measures in place. You know, these things are the challenges that you have. There's a word they call a kind of feedback. Oh, it happened in this school, it happened in that school. What are we doing that? What are we supposed to do that we are not doing, or what are we doing that we are not supposed to, or that we need to improve on, so that as to prevent such occurrence to happen. I've never heard the governor, I stand to be corrected, in the north to say that we have put surveillance in the whole of the state, or we needed about 30,000 cameras, surveillance camera in so many strategic places. We've installed 10,000. We are working upon it, because when it comes to the issue of security, kidnapping, there are three major issues that are involved: the subject, the environment, and the intention. Once someone, a criminal that has intention to kidnap or to do some kind of damages, when you look at the environment that is so porous, there's no security in place, there's nothing stopping our government, if you are to, create more job when it comes to security, police or civil service, defense corps, so that they can put them at least. Let's have three in each of the school within the state. Those are the things that they can do to serve as a preventive measure. But most of the time, our government, they are always reactional to something that happens. It's just a pity that this thing is happening again, and I think they should beef up more security around our schools, both public and even private school, as long as the issue of security is concerned. So that, because that's the duty, or number one duty of any government, to protect life and property.
It's a really, really sad story. I'm trying to, make sense of it, make sense of the helplessness of the situation. Because when government charges community leaders, to be alert, what about the end of responsibility that comes from government? If, the community is able to provide intelligence, what then, does government do about it? And we can't stop talking about this. We should continue to mention it over and over again and demand accountability from the government. Because, when it's time for elections, you hear the deployment of 45,000 men. At that time, there really is no argument about whether or not the subnationals, are holding firmly the security levers in their states. But then when it comes to critical issues about, being responsible for the security of lives and property, then there is a gap that is inexplicable despite the application of all the resources, to tackling it. Mr. Ifetayo, pardon me this morning, but it's really, really heartbreaking.
Of course,
as I think about parents.
Yes, very heartbreaking. I understand.
Yes, indeed. Let's go to The Guardian, although The Guardian also covers it, but The Guardian this time around is focusing on the economy. Take a look at the headlines. It's on the front page of your screen. Declining food prices, firmer naira, pull inflation to, I believe The Guardian meant to capture it as 16% as reported. 16% yeah. National target. And there is a graphic illustration of the decline that we're witnessing from what it was about this time last year to where we are now. Mr. Ifetayo, how realistic, are the figures as against the experience of Nigerians?
Yes, at least in some quarters, it's coming down bit by bit, and whatever it is they are doing to make sure the number is dragging down, and they should continue. And of course, food is the most of the essentials in life that people, whether you are rich, average, or poor, or whatever state that you have, people must eat every day. So whatever it is they are doing to make sure naira is firmer and to make sure that the prices of the goods are coming down, whether fertilizer at the subsidized rate to our farmers, or to protect more of their farm or farm produce, or to buy it over from those people so that it doesn't degenerate or as a result of being transported from point A to point B. And so whatever it is they are doing, they should keep it up. And just like me, I'm a believer of when you are doing well, let's talk about it. And if you are not doing well, let's also talk about it. For this one, I'll give them kudos for whatever it is they are doing. They should keep it up and make sure that the inflation at least reduce to one figure digit at least. That still makes sense. And comparing to last year and this year, there's a drastic change in it. And let them just keep it up and see that it reflects on all the people, regardless of where you are, north, south, east, or west, at the prices of food. And of course, lastly, they should look at the middlemen, because sometimes they contributed because you have the stock of goods at home or in your store or in your warehouse, and the thing dragged down, they will still maintain that same prices. It's just that we don't have maybe people who are charged with pricing or commodity in Nigeria. I think that's another area the government needs to look at.
Yeah, Mr. Feta, so certain things they're expected. Is the Yuletide is coming, harvest season, and all of that, some importation done to maybe crash the price and all of that. But we must also, without taking anything away from the effort of government and bringing the numbers down, I think it was, when they rebased it, it came to about 25 or 24. So 16 is about 9% down if my data is correct. I don't like comparing it with next year because the base year and the parameters and the coin, what they call coin cup and the weightage are different. So it is by next year, 2027, we'll really do an assessment. But for the purpose of comparison, you can do that last year and this year. Last year was a different base year altogether as against this year when it was rebased. So as much as I will not take anything away from the government, I don't like people arguing that, oh, we met it at 33 and now it's 16. That's a lie. That's not true. Because the government has said they'll bring it down to 15. That was when it wasn't rebased. But we're happy the rates of change of prices of goods and services by this data is coming down. As much as I don't agree, I will keep saying it whenever numbers come out, I don't agree with the weighted distribution of the COI cup. But that's what we have to deal with. We cannot take efforts of government away. So congratulations to the government. As you said, whatever it is being done to make sure these numbers come down. And the lived-in experience, not just data. I did a write-up recently when I was talking about Africa moving beyond growth metrics to development, where lived-in experience is a true measure of developing countries, so that when data come out and we're happy with the data, people are asking, please, we're the ones living under this data. But it takes time, we must admit that as well. Let's go to the Daily Independent newspaper. Outrage trails kidnap of 25 Kebbi girls, killing of VP, that's vice principal. So I think we've talked about that. So let's get to the subhead. Maybe you want to comment on that even further in case there's anything you missed. But I want to go down to the other part.
Okay, what I also have expected, they should have some of these substations, cut across the state, that in case of emergency, I only know maybe Lagos State and Abuja stand to be corrected. In case of any emergency, a number that you could die, maybe 3-digit number, just like you have 911, in US that you could call that emergency could come. Because sometimes what if you don't have a number of a commissioner of police, or you don't have the number of DPO? So what will happen when there's an emergency? I think those are the things that state government need to look at and say there's a response number that you can call in case of any emergency, whether fire situation or kidnapping or robbery, that at least that can also aid the times of rescue, and to not allow carrying 25 girls, kidnapping them, perpetrate all that is not something that was done in 1 minute or 5 minutes. It takes a lot of time, and I think we should mitigate against this so that it will not happen in the future.
Yes, the next one I was going to, Mr. Fetayo, has to do with Tinubu admits, that's just below the pictures you're seeing there. Tinubu admits compromise in judiciary, says it undermines integrity. When I saw this and I heard the president, I was just almost smiling. I said, who is responsible for undermining his politicians, new politicians? We see the finest of our judges in terms of justice according to law. As soon as it gets to political litigation, which is a big conversation we'll be having today, we just see the law turn on its head. And sometimes you're literally questioning the competence of some of these judges because it just defies common sense. What do you make of it?
Yes, just like you said, sometimes when they dispel justice in some cases, civil cases and all the rest, you give them kudos. But when it comes to political matters, sometimes it's like they say, who pays the piper dictates the tune. It makes them to be compromise, their standard. And of course, I can say that again is what Nigeria knows, that when it comes to political to agitate matter, when it comes to political matter or cases in the court, and that's when you hear that the person who came third in an election will come over and become the governor of a state. So how does that happen? So many things that has happened that I just felt that the issue of appointing the judges in some of our courts, whether High Court, Appeal Court, or Supreme Court, should be done by independent bodies, not people, not the governor when it comes to the state government now, or the one that Mr. President needs to veto, because sometimes because they want to retain their seat or posting because of some some lucrative courts that are lucrative or states that are lucrative when it comes to education of justice, and they want to stand in the record book of whoever that is in power. I think appointing our judges should be done independently, and so that they can administer justice without favor or compromise.
So much to reflect on there, and to also look at a total overhaul of the administration of criminal justice system, particularly when you consider, the congestion of Nigerian prisons and the number of those awaiting trial. Some effort has been made there in the last 1 year or so, but the little effort apparently is not enough considering what the numbers are still saying. But away from, the economy and the justice system to what the New Telegraph is saying, reflecting on the challenges of our very dramatic opposition party, the People's Democratic Party. Look at the New Telegraph. Trouble looms as PDP factions prepare to take control of party secretariat. Both camps schedule neck meetings for Abuja headquarters today. Now, amid all of the challenges, the disagreements and allegations of conspiracy and one faction working with the ruling party to destroy the party, my concern, particularly after the national convention eventually held, was that which group would now take control of the Wadata Plaza headquarters of the People's Democratic Party. And it appears as if that battle will be decided at 10 a.m. this morning. Mr. Ifetayo, what do you anticipate would happen?
Well, I know there's going to be disturbance of peace and order because it's going to be a show of power. And when that, I just hope the police, they are alert that it does not escalate, because some of these political leaders, they have their followers, the psychopaths who are ready to do anything, just to make sure they are in the record book of their master or paymaster, so to say. I just hope that it did not escalate to something that will disturb the movement of people who are going about their lawful duty today. And, we got to this point as a result of judiciary as well. We're talking about the judiciary interpretation of law, and there's no law that supersedes whatever the constitution of Nigeria. So I think it's going to be a confusing state when it comes to PDP this morning, because one party is laying claim that they are the authentic, another one is laying claim that after their convention a few days ago. I just hope the police they come out in numbers this time around to make sure that they maintain peace and order, so that it doesn't disturb or affect other road users or passers-by or neighbors who are going about their lawful duty this morning. Of course, you expect this kind of things to happen, and rightly so.
Very, very. It's going to be an interesting. What do you call it now? We're going to be looking out for that and see how it plays out. I don't know who the police. In fact, our institutions right now is not the best time to lead those institutions, both INEC and the police. Who are you going to be behind? Because everybody has one judgment of court or the other to put up as their reason why they should be the authentic leadership. Even though the Supreme Court has ruled over and over saying that issues around leadership and membership of political parties should not find their way to court. But we keep seeing lower courts entertaining these cases and causing confusion for all of us. That's why sometimes we need to be calling the judiciary out, because that's why the president had to also say what he said, because they are now becoming part of the problem. And we have a lot of fantastic judges and members of the bar who do their work according to the justice. But some, it's a shame what we see. Some of them are being seen now as cronies of political class. If certain politicians take their cases to their courts, you can be sure that case will be in their favor. We should not be able to predict outcome of court cases. But now, Mr. Feta, it gets to a point, one of the ways, if you don't understand anything about politics in Nigeria, if two people are contesting election and they went to court, on the day of judgment, the person who shows up in court is the winner. How did he know he's the winner? And the person who lost, how did he know he's the loser and did not show up? That's what we do in Nigeria, and it's a shame. Let's go to this Nigeria. I think it leads as well. I'm trying to see. Okay. Literally, we've touched base with everything. So, Mr. Adeni Ifetayo, we must thank you so much. I know you have a trip to catch. Wish you well and safe. Thank you so much for coming through. Mr. Adeni Ifetayo is a publisher of the Megastar magazine and a public relations expert and journalist. Thank you so much for coming on the program. We appreciate you.
Thank you. It's my pleasure to be on, Sigi.
All right, guys, we'll take a break, Bukola, and when we come back, we'll get to our very first conversation, and that has to do with the state of security. We started off with that. Bukola actually went deep into that. I was avoiding it because I was keeping it for now, but how do you avoid something as sensitive as that? That's why we're mainstreaming it today, to make sure that those girls come back. We'll be back in just a moment.